Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Luis Chavez. I'm a photographer and filmmaker based out of Southern California. In today's video, I'm going to talk about all my favorite photos of the month. This is for the month of December. I'm a little late, but we're just going to roll with it. But stick around to the end of the video because I'm also going to talk about some of my other favorite things that I enjoyed all year long. So this first photo is in Claremont, California. As you guys know, I frequent that town quite often. It's near where I live, so I'm there quite a bit. So if you guys are familiar with Claremont, you know that it's a college town. So on most years, it's, there's tons of students from all over the country there. And so this year it's been pretty empty all year. So I want to take pictures of like the surrounding area with not a lot of people around. So I was walking down the street with this campus and I saw the pool area. That was really interesting because the sun is pretty high, so there's not a lot of shadows going on. But yeah, this pool looked like it was recently cleaned, so it was nice and bright and everything. So I thought it was really interesting, the contrast between the colors here and the beige type of color that's surrounding the area with the brick wall and everything. So I thought it was pretty interesting and kind of encapsulates the area in this period of time. So earlier in December, I also took a trip up to Big Bear like we usually do, but since we're in a lockdown now, I haven't been able to do a lot of traveling. So this was taken a little bit before, everything kind of shut down here in California. So this is in Big Bear, California, and I always usually take photos of this lake. And so far, I've been taking photos of this lake all year long without that many people around. So I have a picture of this lake here in the summer, but also have one in winter when there's a bunch of snow on it. But right now it's like after the snow has melted. So I wanted to just take just another photo of the lake, as it's super peaceful right now. And there's like a trail that goes around the lake. So yeah, I want to take another photo of this. So this next photo is also in Big Bear here in California. So I took this photo like an hour or two after sunset. So this is around Christmas, so we had all these Christmas lights all over the place, and like I said, it's really empty all over the place. So I kind of want to keep taking photos of the places I usually go every year, but with 2020, it's kind of a stark contrast between the hustle and bustle of the town that we usually get, and then this year it's just empty, which is something you usually don't see, especially around the holidays. So this photo is taken somewhere between, if you're from California, it's somewhere between San Bernardino and up to Big Bear. We stumbled upon this trail as we were going down. We were just trying to look at some trails that we haven't done before. So we stumbled upon this one. My wife actually found it, and it took us to this other lake. It's a way smaller lake. So the trail was only like half a mile. So it led us to this really beautiful lake with a deck on it. So I thought it was, again, really interesting because there's lots of greens here in the frame, and some melted snow on the left side. So yeah, I just kind of want to take a photo of this lake. So if you guys saw my previous video where I just shot on film during this trip, you know that I have a few film photos that I took. So if you've already seen this, sorry, but this is one of the photos I took. This was taken with the Nikon F3 on film, and as I explained it a little bit more in the video. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it somewhere, I think right here. So in this trip, I just took all these cameras to just kind of try them out. And so this is one of my favorite shots because, like I said, I frequent this place quite a bit. So it was nice to see what the frame would look like shot on a different format that I'm used to, which, it's all digital. So yeah, this is one of my favorite frames. It's of my wife and my in-laws and my dog walking down this trail that it's parallel to the lake here. This is also one of my favorite photos that I took on film. This was taken also in Big Bear at a different day, I believe. And there was a bunch more people walking down in the lake. But like I said, this place is usually more crowded with people. So I wanted to take a picture of the lake right now. That was pretty cloudy. So I thought it was really interesting, the colors that I got from this. I don't know if it was because I underexposed too much. I'm still trying to get the hang of exposing on film. And if anybody has any tips for me, if you can leave them in the comments. But yeah, I thought this came out pretty interesting. There's not a lot to say about this photo. It's just I just kind of want to keep practicing with shooting film. This photo was taken in Rancho Cucamonga, California. So in this town, there's a particular neighborhood that decorates, like, I'm sure that it's like that in a lot of places, but they decorate every single house in this neighborhood, and we just kind of got a chance to drive through it. Most years you get a couple of days where you can walk through it, but they're trying to mitigate that with crowds and everything, so it was just drive-through only. And I didn't want to overwhelm the frame with a bunch of Christmas lights of every single house. So there was this house in particular that was at the tail end of this neighborhood, so it was the only house right at the beginning that had stuff decorated. So I want to take a picture of that because it's more traditional, which is kind of like the feel that I wanted to do with this photo, especially around Christmas. So it has minimal decorations, but it's I think it really creates this really peaceful frame. At least it's the frame that I wanted to kind of convey. So I thought it was pretty interesting. So this next photo is again Claremont, California, and like I said, I walk this place quite a bit, especially now that we're kind of not allowed to go in a lot of places. So I'm trying to challenge myself to take pictures of the places I usually take, but just try to find new things that I haven't done before, or at least houses that I haven't shot before, or just stuff like that. So this photo was taken of a house here in Claremont, California, and I thought it was pretty interesting because of the tree that had all these leaves falling down and had really interesting colors all over the place, but also had a car that kind of evens out the frame with the house in the background. So I thought it was pretty nice. This next photo was also taken on the same walk. So it was of a different house, and I thought since the colors kind of engulfed this house, I wanted to just find a home that kind of was more neutral. So I thought it evened out the interest of the frame. So we're here in winter in California, but if you're from California, we usually don't get that. It's not that much different. It's just a little bit cooler. So I like that these trees started to change color, but there's still some green in here. So yeah, I thought it was a pretty even frame, and I was pretty happy with it. So those are all my favorite photos of the month in December. Like I said, it's been a weird year, especially now in December here in California. So I didn't take that many photos, but I still wanted to kind of challenge myself and still go out there and just take some photos as I would, even though there's not a lot to shoot recently. I still wanted to make sure that I took out my camera and shoot more stuff as I could. So I also want to talk about my favorite photo of the year. This is the photo that I was the most proud of all year long, and I actually took it really early in the year. So I took this one in San Francisco, California in February of 2020. And it was the first time I had kind of took the Ricoh GR3 around after I bought it. So I was really interested. It was really interesting to see the way that this camera kind of handled what I threw at it. So this was the perfect time for me to just kind of shoot around with it as I would. And I stumbled upon this scene of this kid just looking out into the Golden Gate Bridge with no one around, and it was just kind of like something I always had in my mind that I wanted to take. The fog in here kind of adds on a little extra something. You can't see the Golden Gate Bridge as much as I would hope I could see it, but nevertheless, I think it's a really interesting photo and something that I'm really proud of. And yeah, so that's kind of like the photo that solidified that I really liked the Ricoh GR3, and it made me more excited to shoot on with it for all year. So I also want to talk about my favorite cameras of the year. If you're familiar with my channel, you know that the Ricoh GR3 is a big part of the channel, and it's definitely a camera that I'm not planning on selling anytime soon. I got my favorite photos of the year with this camera, and I think it kind of shows you, or at least me, that you don't need to have a certain camera to create beautiful photos, but as long as the camera inspires you to shoot those photos, that's all that matters. And like I said, with this camera having an APS-C size sensor, it just packs a lot of punch. And so yeah, I'm surprised that not a lot more photographers don't know about this, especially people that shoot professionally. But I think this is a camera that definitely should be in everybody's radar if it's not already. And it's something that I'm proud to keep in my kit for the next year going forward. So my other favorite camera of 2020 was this Leica Q2. I got this in October of 2020, and I haven't stopped shooting with it. So this has gone with all my trips, just like the Ricoh has, and it's really made me kind of shoot a little bit differently than I would, because before the Ricoh, I would just lug around a big DSLR, and then since the Ricoh, I just kind of stopped using all of my other cameras, and I kind of sold a lot of my stuff just to kind of invest in this system. So with the Ricoh and the Leica Q2 having the same 28mm focal length, it might be not the best to kind of like have a diversity, but it really kind of solidifies the way that I like to shoot. So it used to be 35mm for everything, so 35mm focal length, but I've recently just fallen in love with 28mm. It just seems a lot more versatile for the type of shooting that I do, especially since I don't like to carry around a lot of different lenses. 28, it just seems like the sweet spot if I don't want to carry anything else. But like I said, with all my professional work, I just like to have the flexibility of other lenses and other cameras. But the Leica Q2 has definitely been a great addition to my kit, and it's definitely given me some of the best photos that I've been most proud of. And If you're familiar with my channel, you know that the Ricoh GR3 is just my daily camera that I take with everything for all of my like walks and all that stuff. So it's my snapshot camera that if I don't want to think about the shot and just take it, that's the camera that I use. But if I want a lot more control with this camera, with the here on the lens or with the physical dials on the camera, it allows me to be more mindful of the type of shot that I want. So I'm really enjoying having these two different cameras to kind of dictate what type of shot that I want to do, or what kind of shooting style that I want to do on a particular day. So the last thing I want to talk about is music. If you know me personally, you know that I love music, and I'm just always trying to find new music to listen to. And I just want to recommend my favorite album of the year. And if you know me, I guess you don't, this is no surprise, but my favorite album of 2020 was Punisher by Phoebe Bridgers. It's such a beautiful album, and Phoebe Bridgers is a wonderful lyricist and singer-songwriter. So if you're looking for something different, maybe in that realm, definitely check it out. And if you kind of were familiar with Phoebe Bridgers before and you're not so sure if you like her first album, this album is amazing, and I think it's definitely a great addition to her library, and I just can't wait to see what she does next. So thank you so much for watching this week's video. If you have any suggestions or any content you'd like to see in 2021, please leave them in the comment section below. I have a couple of videos planned out for the next couple of weeks and months, so I'm always looking for feedback of things that you guys would like to see. It's been really fun to make these videos, so I want to continue that for 2021. So if you are not subscribed yet, please subscribe, and if you like this video, give it a like. So 2020 was a crazy year. I don't need to say that again, but I'm hopeful for 2021. So here's to hoping things a little bit better in 2021, and I'll see you next time. Bye.